Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? It is currently 4:07 p.m. on this beautifully sunny, summery, warm afternoon. It is currently 81 degrees outside and full sunshine. It's really pretty outside today. And it's not so hot that you can't be outside. My neighbor is across the street. She is gardening. She bought more plants today. I was giving her a hard time. I said, I think you have an addiction. I think you have a problem to buying plants. And she's watering her plants right now. And so yeah, this is the only video that I'm making today. I'm not making videos on my other channels. I've just kind of been relaxing today, and I got up and I had just a little bit of iced coffee sitting out here and talked on the phone for a little bit. And Alex had kind of a half day today, and then he went and got his hair cut, and he just got home a little bit ago, and he's starting to get ready. His friend is going to be here at 5 to go to the Zubilation event tonight. And then I have to start getting ready about 5:30, 5:45 so that I can get an Uber over to Tanya's because she's speaking tonight. Which I was actually talking to another friend of mine, and I was looking up the meeting to see where it's at, and I think it's the same place that Tanya spoke 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, and she said that if it's the same place that she spoke 2 or 3 months ago, she said you can just speak. She was like, so I have a feeling, and it is the same place, so I have a feeling that I might be speaking tonight. So I'm gonna have to kind of pull it together and try to look a little bit nice tonight in case I show up there and I'm the one that has to speak. Which whenever I speak and I tell my story at meetings, which when you give a lead, you get up and it's they usually they do the intro part of the meeting and whatever, and then they introduce you. So you have about 50 minutes to speak and share your story, unless the meeting's an hour and a half. But usually it's about 45 to 50 minutes that you speak and tell your story, and it's called a lead. And you're supposed to share about what happened, how it was, what happened, and how it is now for you is basically what you're supposed to do. And so I was kind of this morning when I woke up, I was like, okay, so if I have to speak tonight, what do I want to say? And back in the day, I would sometimes take note cards and stuff like that, but I would always get distracted. So now, typically, if I have to speak, what I do is I just pray on it moments before, and I say, okay, God, let me share whatever it is that you want me to share. But I was thinking actually about a friend of mine who has since passed away. He passed away last year, and he, at the time that he passed away, had about 45 years sober. And when I came in, after not having gone to meetings for 4 years, there was a meeting that I regularly went to that was every week. It was somebody shared their story. It's called the Open Speaker Meeting. And his was one of the very first leads that I heard when I came back into the rooms. And he was talking about emotional sobriety and how he didn't talk so much. Usually when you hear somebody give their lead, they usually talk about their using days and then getting sober and working steps and sponsorship and and then kind of briefly talk about where they're at today and things like that. But he didn't do that unless it's a specific designated lead, at conferences and stuff like that. They'll do they'll have a spiritual speaker that will talk just about spirituality, or they'll have a speaker maybe on the 6th step or the 4th step and whatever, that specifically just talks about that. But typically a lead, you just tell your story, right? And so but I remember when I heard his lead, it was so profound for me to hear, because he was talking about how there had been 2 years prior where he was in a really not a great place, and that he had no emotional sobriety. And emotional sobriety is really once you put down the drink and the drug, who are you? Are you working on yourself? Are you working on being a more spiritual person? Are you working on being a better person, on a daily basis? How do you treat others? How do you interact with others? Things like that, right? And because we talk about how drinking and drugging is but a symptom of the disease, and that it's really about having the disease of addiction and who we are as those people, and it's really not so much about the drink or the drug once you get past that part. And so anyway, in his lead that he shared, he talked about how there were 2 years where he just was in this total funk, and he wasn't really doing anything, and he wasn't really working on himself, and he was staying sober, but just kind of like in word alone, just like, hey, I'm sober, but like he wasn't like working with a sponsor, and he wasn't doing, you know, any of this kind of stuff. And then he kind of had this moment of clarity where he was like, how sober do you want to be? Like, how happy do you want to be? And he realized that you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And so, like, it changed everything for him, because he realized he wasn't happy. He had no spiritual foundation in his life. He didn't feel spiritually or emotionally fit. And so he started doing a lot of work, and he started, like, you know, going to a lot more meetings and working steps with this. He got a new sponsor. He worked steps with his new sponsor and all this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden he had this like kind of like spiritual enlightenment where he became like, he realized that he was growing as a human being. And I can remember hearing his lead, and I was like, and he really didn't talk much at all about like the early days. He talked mostly just about like those last 2 years going forward, and like how he had worked on himself and who he had become. And I can remember it was so exactly where I was at that point, having not gone to meetings in 4 years and feeling like I had no spiritual foundation and I had no emotional sobriety, and I felt like I was in a slump. And even though I had never drank or drugged in those 4 years, like I was basically just saying I was sober. I wasn't really doing the work. I wasn't really doing anything, you know? And so I wasn't growing as a person. Like, in all honesty, even though I had been sober many years before I stopped going to meetings, I had just removed the drugs and the alcohol, and I really, like, I you know, was like an empty shell of myself. And that was when I was like very angry and full of rage and just not a great person. And so, and just not happy either, you know? And so I can remember going up and talking to him after his lead, and I was like, and he was somebody that I had known for years and years and years. And it was weird because he had kind of stopped going to meetings where I went. And so, the guy that was running the meeting was a friend of mine, and even though he was going to meetings in a different part of town, he had asked him to speak about his, you know, where he was at. And it was like almost kind of like kismet that he was there that night and I was there that night, and I heard his story, and I went up to him afterwards and I was just like, you have no idea. Like, and this is why I always say you never know like who needs to hear what you're talking about at that moment, because like I was that person in that room that needed to hear that story, you know? And I think about how like he really saved my life. Because, like, had I, you know, heard a completely different lead that night, I don't know where I would be today. But, like, he really gave me hope that this funk that I was in, that I didn't really know, like, how I was looking for life ropes, you know, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And how to pull myself out of this funk that I was in, and how to find some spiritual foundation, and, you know, how to work on myself and have growth. Like, I didn't know how to do that. And he was just like, you know, he was like, when I share my story, he was like, I just talk about where I'm at that time. I just share where I'm at on that day and like what's been going on with me recently, you know? And he was like, I'm so happy that it really meant a lot to you. And it just like so impacted me. Like, it really lit a fire underneath me. And then it was around that time that I was listening to a lead online, because there's a lot of leads online that you can listen to on YouTube and other places, right? And I was listening to this woman give this lead, and she said, it's hard to fall off the wagon when you're sitting in the middle of it. You know, falling off the wagon is an analogy for going back out and drinking and using again. And she was talking about how it's hard to fall off the wagon when you're sitting in the middle of it. And it just was so profound to me, because I was never the person, because of my social anxiety, that would go into meetings and like shake people's hand and introduce myself. I didn't share a lot. I always kind of passed. I was very quiet. And hearing that on the heels of like, around that same time of like hearing his lead, I was like, you got to get involved. And that was when I started doing a lot of service work. That was when I started putting my hand out and introducing myself, no matter how fearful that was. That was when I, you know, and what changed was, there was, at the time, I was going to a clubhouse where that I would go to a noon and an 8 o'clock meeting every single day. And I mean, I would walk into that noon meeting, and it was like, even after just, you know, a month or two of going to that meeting, where when I first started going, I didn't know anybody at that clubhouse, you know? And after 2 months of going to that meeting, oh, Tanya Jean's calling me. And after 2 months of going to that meeting, I, you know, like, knew like everybody there, and I would walk in and everybody would be like, Peter, it's so good to see you. Hey, Peter, how are you? And whatever. And it really, really made me feel welcome. And so I was thinking about, this is probably her calling me and telling me that I'm speaking tonight, which would be like so weird, wouldn't it, that I'm talking about this? So I'll call her back in just a second. But anyway, or she'll call and say that he found somebody else to speak and we're not going anymore. That will be the other thing. Or maybe she's just checking to see if I'm still coming. I don't know. But anyway, oh, she texted me. Hold on a second. She texted me that she's not going tonight. Let me call her. I'll call her right back. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. Well, all this talk about giving a lead, and we're not even going to the meeting tonight. So, poor Tanya, I feel so bad for her. She has been having so much hardship with her knee, and I asked her, I said, do you care if I talk about this? And she's like, no, I don't care at all. She's like, I mean, it's the truth, it's what's going on. She has been having such a hard time with her knee, and she just went to the Bahamas for this wedding, and she was like really worried that she wasn't going to be able to do that because she didn't know. I mean, she's like really having a hard time even like walking and standing on her feet all day long, working and things like that. And she had arthritis in her knee, and then it's like it's gotten even like worse. And so today she was like at work, and she was like, I can't stand on my feet anymore. Like it's too painful. And so she called her doctor, and her doctor was like, you just need to go home and rest. Like you need to, and then come in on Monday. And so I guess she's going to see him on Monday or something like that. But, and so, I mean, she was in so much pain when I was talking to her on the phone. She's like, I don't know what to do. She was like, I said, sweetie, I said, just lay on the couch and relax and watch some TV. And I said, because I thought she was going to say like, well, he wants you to find a way there to speak. And I said, did you text our friend about finding another speaker? And she was like, yeah. She was like, I'm not worried about it. He said he would find somebody else. So, so I'm not even going to the meeting tonight. The meeting is like far away from me anyway. It's like, to Tanya's house, it's like 20 minutes from here, and then 15 or 20, well, probably 20 minutes from here. And then from the meeting, it's like another 25 minutes. So for me, from my house, like if I were taking Uber to the meeting, it would be like probably 35 minutes or something like that. But anyway, but going back to what I was saying about my friend and his sharing the story, and then hearing the woman say, you know, like, I've kind of like gotten off track a little bit because we were talking for a while, but you know, and then listening to that woman say it's hard to fall off, you know, it's hard to fall off the wagon when you're sitting in the middle of it. And that was when I, you know, started putting out my hand, and like, and that was really uncomfortable for me. It was scary for me because my social anxiety was like horrible at that time, you know, and so yeah, so but you know, within like a month or two, it was like I would go into that noon meeting, and it was just like, I mean, it was amazing. You know, I would walk in and everybody would be like, hey, Peter, how are you? Oh, Peter, it's so good to see you. And I made so many friends, and I really, in all honesty, for like the first part, or for the first time of being in a 12-step program or being in recovery, other than the group of friends that I had through Tanya, I really felt like I was a part of something bigger than me, and it really felt nice, and I really felt included in that. So yeah, I owe a lot to him. I owe a lot to him in sharing that, because what I realized was, and I'm only speaking about this with addiction. I'm not speaking about this with mental health, because I know that, like, you know, with mental health, it's a lot about, you know, finding doctors and therapists to talk to, and sometimes medicine and things like that. And I would encourage people out there to find those people if you need that. But I was at such a low point in my life, and I just felt like I don't really know what to do, you know, like, and just hearing his story gave me so much hope. That if he had come out, I mean, and I don't want to get into the details, but I mean, he had sunk pretty low, and the fact that he was able to come out of that, I thought my phone was beeping, but it's not. The fact that he was able to come out of that gave me hope that I too could come out of that, and, you know, I could live a prosperous life, and I could have an amazing life, and I could have good relationships in my life, and all I had to do is I had to do the work, you know, and I had to put the work into it. It's kind of funny because, you know, I'm a believer in analogies and learning through analogies, and I'm sitting here and she and I were talking about her garden yesterday, because I said, you know, when can I show your garden on my video? And she said, oh, probably another, you know, 2 weeks. And I said, okay, why can't I just show it now? And she said, well, the perennials are starting to come up. And she said, I would rather if you showed it like when all the perennials are out, because it's so beautiful, right? And her garden is so beautiful already, and she puts in so much work, and like every day she's like, right now she's out there and are you repotting plants?
Yeah.
I need to repot a plant, and I don't know much about it. I might need to have you help me. But like, you know, it's so beautiful. And then you think about like all the hard work that she puts into it, and the watering of it, and the making, you know, every day she's out there working on it. And the result is this gorgeous garden, right? And to some degree, I think that's a lot like how we are as people, you know. It's like the more work that you put into yourself, even though it might be hard work, it might be stuff that you don't want to do. It might be taking a look at things you don't want to look at in your life, because I've had to look at a lot of things I didn't want to look at in my life. You know, I had to take a look at parts of myself that I didn't want to look at, and how angry I was, and how resentful I was, and things like that. And looking at that stuff and working through it, and, you know, seeing, like my part in things and whatever. It was interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine about the other day. I was talking to a friend of mine about the idea of when you struggle finding your part in something, like maybe something that happened to you in your life, you know, whether it's childhood trauma or something that happened to you in adulthood or whatever. But there's a lot of things that happen to us that we have no part in, right? That we didn't do, we didn't ask for, and it just exists, you know? And how do you work through that from a 12-step point of view, like when you're doing the 4th step on resentments, and like, how do you look at your part in that? And she said to me, she said, have you ever thought about like looking at like how you behaved afterwards, or how you acted afterwards? And like, because to some degree that can be your part as well, like what you did as a result of that, you know, like holding on to anger and things like that. And I thought, God, I never really thought about it that way, you know? You know, so, like just sometimes holding on to anger for 20 or 30 years, you know, letting people rent space in my head for free, and all that kind of stuff, which I do have control over that today. I do, you know? So anyway, I'm super grateful for him, because I really think had I not heard that lead on that specific day, I don't think I would be here. Not to the capacity that I am today. Like there's specific things that he shared that it's not my place to share, but that really, really helped me, because I was like, it was so in tune with like what I felt in that moment and what I was going through, that I just felt completely lost. And then he would say like, and I felt completely lost, and this is what I did with it. And I started reaching out to people, and I started talking to people, and I would start reaching out to people, and I would start talking to people, because that's what he had done, you know? And I think even just talking to him afterwards, and him encouraging me and saying, you got to do the work. Like if you want to feel better, you know, it's not going to magically just happen, you know? Like if you want to feel better, you have to do the work. And I'm so grateful for that. That was really, I think, the turning point for me in really starting to work on myself, you know? And it's been a slow journey. Like, I mean, sometimes lessons come quickly, and sometimes they come slowly. They, you know, sometimes things I work on for years on end, and other times things I work on, you know, over a short period of time. But I feel like I'm moving in the right direction, you know? Like we say, I'm a work in progress. Yesterday on my video on my Peter Monn channel, I talked at length about like recovery, and that there have been so many comments the day before, people like sharing their recovery dates and stuff. And this guy shared a comment on there, and he said something about like he had like 20 some days sober, and then he drank, and he was like kind of beating himself up, and he didn't know if he could do it or whatever. And there was a reply to it, and I read the reply, and the person said, well, there was 2 replies actually, because he responded to her, and she said, you can do this, you've got this, don't ever forget it's progress, not perfection. And then he said something to the effect of like, progress, not perfection, I'm writing that down, so I see that every day. And it was those little things at really hard times for me, and really difficult times in my sobriety and in my life, that really helped me get through things, you know, that I realized that it is progress, not perfection. Like, I don't have to be this perfect example overnight. Like, there's no such thing as perfection anyway, you know, not in my eyes. And I mean, when I start thinking that I can be perfect, that's when I start thinking that I can be God. And I'm not. And so I just have to realize that. But so anyway, having a little bit of a Diet Coke. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. I might film some videos. I hear my husband moving around. He was taking a shower. I might make a Peterisms video today, because I didn't do that yesterday. Or I might just listen to some of my audiobook out here. Or I might take a walk. Or I might see if one of my neighbors wants to go for a swim. I don't know what I'll do. I felt so bad for Tanya. She was like so not feeling it. I could just like hear the pain in her voice, you know. Like, her doctors have kind of mentioned to her the possibility that she might have to have surgery, and like that's like one of her biggest fears, is like she just, not the surgery itself, but like taking time off to like, you know, recuperate. She doesn't want to have to do that. And especially, she's like, especially in the summer, like when I love to golf and I love to go to the pool and things like that. And she's like, I just don't want to have to do that. She's like, but I guess if I have to do that because of my knee, I'm going to have to, you know. Tanya's so mobile, like she's constantly like out and whatever. And she was doing water aerobics for a long time. And then her doctor said that the water aerobics, like the bouncing on her leg, was like not helping her knee or something like that. And so she had to stop doing that. Anyway, so positive thoughts from Miss Tanya Jean out there. I might DoorDash her and Eric something for dinner tonight. Send them something yummy, something scrumptious. They love like steaks and baked potatoes, and there's a place like right around the corner from where they live that they get steaks and baked potatoes from a lot. I might send them 2 steaks and 2 baked potatoes and a salad to share. That's like Tanya's favorite meal. Anyway, did I say this already? That last night, okay, so ate my dinner last night while Alex and I watched The Real Housewives of Orange County. Did I already say this? I don't know if I did or not. I feel like I've talked to like 3 people today on the phone, and I was like telling them this, so it's like, I'm like, did I talk about this on the phone, or was I vlogging? So if I did vlog about this already, I apologize. But anyway, and then I talked to Tanya for a little bit last night, and then after that, I went upstairs, and Alex was like in bed, like playing on his phone, like his Township game that he's obsessed with. Which, by the way, somebody asked like what level is Alex on Township, and I asked him, and he looked at me like I was the craziest person in the world, and he goes, I don't think there's levels on Township. He goes, but I could be wrong. And I said, so do you know what level you are? Because I want to tell people. And he's like, I have no idea what level I'm on. And I was like, okay. Probably 4,000, since he's been playing it forever. I'm always like, are you building something in your town? Well, most of the time it's like he's not even like building stuff in his town. So Township's like this game where you like build this like city. Most of the time he's not even in there. It's like other little games you do, I think, to like get points or something or whatever, that then the points like translate to like being able to build stuff in the town. I don't understand it. But anyway, so he was playing his game, and I was laying there, and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna go to bed for a little bit. And then I was so comfortable, and I was like, I'm gonna go to bed for a little bit, and I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna watch my shows, because I wanted to watch High Desert with Patricia Arquette. I've been wanting to watch it for like 2 or 3 days. And then I also wanted to watch maybe Grace and Frankie, and then I also wanted to watch Fear the Walking Dead. And I had like no real reason to get up anytime early today. So, because I kind of planned last night that the only video I was going to maybe do today was my vlog. And so I was like, okay, well, I can just watch shows late and then I can get up, you know. Oh, I also wanted to listen to my audiobook, like an hour of my audiobook. And so I fell asleep, I don't know, like 10 or 10:30, something like that. I don't remember when. But anyway, I woke up and it was like 5:30 in the morning. I had slept like straight through the night. And took little Boo Radley out, brought him back inside, got him some treats, took him to bed, got him tucked in with Alex again. And then I was like wide awake. And so I sat out here and actually made like a cup of sleepy time tea. And then I went back upstairs and I tried to fall asleep. And I was like struggle busting it. Well, probably because I had slept almost like 8 hours. And so I should have just like got up and stayed up. But I was like, no, I want to go back to bed for a couple more hours. And I just tossed and turned and tossed and turned and tossed and turned. So, but I didn't take a melatonin or anything like that. A lot of people have so many opinions about the melatonin and the sleepy time tea. It's like a hot topic over here. My favorite comment was from Brian, who was referring to the tea, and he goes, that tea don't work for me. Brian comments on a lot of the videos, and I love his comments because they're always kind of snarky and funny. But like I read that, I was like reading through all the comments, because I do read all the comments on the vlog, just so you guys know. And because a lot of the suggestions that you guys give me, I take. I know you probably think I don't, but I really do. And like I like, you know, like really hear what you're saying and things like that. And like a lot of people are saying like 10 milligrams of melatonin is like way too much. Well, back in the day when I was taking it, I started with 5 milligrams and then like I worked my way up. So I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and take your advice and start with lower doses of melatonin. And we'll see. But anyway, I mean, I could split the 10 milligram tablets like in half, and then there would be 5 milligrams each. So maybe I'll try that and go back and see. But the sleepy time tea really does help me. It really does relax me. So when I read Brian's comment and he goes, that tea don't work for me or something like that, I just started laughing so hard. By the way, I just have to tell you that, okay, this shirt, I cannot believe fits me. This is a shirt that I have had so my ex and I, we got together in, I don't even remember what year we got together. So we broke up in 2007. Then we got together in 2001. And so we went to St. Lucia we stayed at the Windjammer Resort, which was where Whitney Houston stayed. And also right before we went, oh, what's her face? I love her. The singer that passed away. Well, Whitney Houston passed away too, but the English singer. Oh, why can't I think of her name? Shoot. My friend Valerie likes her. She has a song called Valerie, actually. Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse had just like stayed there for like 2 months before we had gotten there and had passed away. And, so anyway, I have to tell you, St. Lucia is not one of my favorite places that I've ever been to. But it was like beautiful. We drove all over the island and we rented a Jeep and stuff like that. And it was really fun. But so anyway, I got this t-shirt in 2003. And that was before I started gaining a lot of weight in that relationship. And so at the time, I was like 185, 190 probably. And I can't believe this t-shirt. It's a little tight, but it's not super tight. I can't believe it fits me. So I'm so happy about that, but I feel like I should go check on Alex because he's like, I can hear him stomping around inside. So I finally fell asleep, and I fell asleep for a couple hours, and then I got up and I made the bed and I was listening to my audiobook. I finally did start listening to my audiobook today, which is so funny because like I haven't listened to it since we were in Florida, which was at the end of March, beginning of April, and I like remembered exactly like what was going on and everything in the book. I still don't love it. I'm listening to How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, and I have 3 hours, I think like 3 hours and a few minutes left now. I listened to like 10 or 20 minutes of it or something like that, but anyway, not many. I didn't listen to much of it. No, I listened to more of it than that. That's not true. I listened to more of it than that. So tonight I'm going to try to like bump out like an hour of it, and because I want to finish this book. I'm not into the book at all. Like I'm halfway through the book, and I already know, like, if I'm like 100 pages into a book, or I'm like an hour into an audiobook and I don't like it by that point, like I kind of know I'm not going to like the book. It's so different than all of his other books that he's read. And it's interesting because when I talk about it and I get comments on it, people will either say like, oh, like somebody just commented the other day and they said, oh, my friend and I read it and we like loved that book. Or they said their mom and them read it, or something like that. Their mom and them. That's not grammatically correct, but they read it with their mom and they loved the book, or something like that. I can't remember, but then I'll get other people will be like, oh, I hated that book. I couldn't stand that book. My friend Nikki, she did not like the book. But I need to get it done because I'm just kind of stuck in this book, and I need to start listening to other books, because I think that once I start listening to other books that I really, really like, then I think that I will, like, I'll start, like, listening to audiobooks a lot faster. So once I start getting into books that I really enjoy, I think that'll help me a little bit. So anyway, and then I don't know what else I'm going to do tonight, because I was planning to go to the meeting with Tanya, so, eat some of my leftover piata maybe, or maybe DoorDash some more piata, so I have some for tomorrow too. I kind of just love DoorDashing stuff now, I guess, I don't know. And then maybe watch some of my shows and stuff. See, now I feel like since I'm not going to the meeting, I should probably film some other videos. But if I do that, then I probably won't stop filming until 7:30 or 8, and then I'll be tired, and then I'll eat, and then I'll want to lay down. So I feel like, well, maybe because you're not going to the meeting, you should just, you know, relax and watch TV and, you know, enjoy yourself. I can hear my husband inside walking around, so he must be like ready to go. He just opened a Coke. I could hear him inside opening a Coke. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Should I read some of the comments? People love when I read the comments from the vlog. Oh, this is the other thing. So the last 2 nights since I've woken up so late, I haven't posted the vlog until I've woken up. So I think the night before, I don't remember what time I don't remember what time I've woken up the last 2 or 3 nights, but each night, like, that's when I've posted the vlog. That's why it's been so late, because it's been ready at like 10 or 11 o'clock, but like I've been asleep, so I don't post the vlog until I wake up, you know, like at 4 or 5 or 6 in the morning, so. See, she's like one of those people that's like walking down the street talking on her speakerphone for the entire world to hear everything that she's saying. She don't care. Honey Badger don't care. Let's see the comments. Trends Screen said, just order piata via DoorDash. Yay! Alice asked, or Elise, would Alex ever consider doing a video on his atheist point of view? I'm not atheist, but I'd love for him to voice his beliefs and thoughts on the subject. I have good friends who are atheists, and I want to understand their beliefs better. Yeah, I don't think he would have any problem doing that. When we go on my birthday trip, which is kind of like our birthday trip, because Alex's birthday is the 21st and mine's the 29th, so we're kind of, I mean, the trip is for both of our birthdays. We'll do a couples video, I'm sure, while we're on vacation, and I hope I remember to ask him about that, but that's a good question. Nicole said, yes, community coffee is made in Louisiana. I'm from there. Yay! There were so many nice comments about me talking about date night and stuff like that. Melissa said, you should invite your neighbors over to do a live stream and ask questions and tell stories. You can keep them off screen the entire time. I think everybody would love that. I don't, I think they would do it. Well, my neighbor on the corner, her husband, like, he's really funny, but he's really funny about things that I don't know that you guys would find funny. Like, I mean, he's not going to talk about the HOA or anything like that, but she would, and she would do it if she wasn't on camera. My neighbor to the right would definitely do it if she wasn't on camera. Her husband's real quiet, though. He's super nice, but he's real quiet. And my neighbors across the street, oh, they would definitely do it. And my neighbor to the left, she's been on my videos before, so she would probably do it too. I think the person you guys would love the most is either my neighbor in the corner, who's actually on the board of the HOA, or my neighbor across the street, because she has a lot of opinions about the HOA, and she would share her opinions openly. It was so funny because somebody commented on my vlog. This was, I don't know, a couple days ago or a week ago or something like that, and they're like, how many people do you think in Peter's community listen to his videos and listen to him talk about the HOA and the gossip of the neighborhood and stuff? I can tell you nobody. First of all, okay, nobody's that interested in what I have to say, first of all. Second of all, I don't even know that they would know how to find it. Not that I care. You know, anybody could walk up the walkway and be like, I heard you said this. I'd be like, okay, it's my opinion, you know, like, it's my opinion from living in this neighborhood, and I have a right to my opinion. But I just don't think that my neighbors really care that much. They know, like, all my neighbors, I mean, people that even people that don't live right here, like people that walk by and people that I talk to, I mean, most of the people in this community know, like, what I do for a living, and that I make YouTube videos, and that I joke about the neighborhood and things like that. I told them, you know, I almost kind of gave away a secret. I've told them about the Cozy Mystery that I'm working on about a neighborhood with an HOA, and they think it's a riot. They think it's hilarious, you know. I think part of it is, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I think, like, the older people get, like, the less they really care about stuff like that, you know. It's like, I don't say people's names on my videos and stuff like that, so I think they don't really care, you know. They're like, say your piece, say whatever you want to say, like, they're not offended by it, you know what I mean? Like, the other thing is I think that the majority of the people in my neighborhood probably agree. Like, we all kind of agree on how we feel about, like, the HOA and things like that. So, I mean, there's probably only 5 people that are on the board that might disagree with that take it very, very seriously. And here, let me give you an example. Hold on a second. My neighbor's across the street. She's watering her plants. Wait till she starts walking back. Hey, I got a question for you.
Okay.
So, people on my video are saying that I should have my neighbors during a live stream answer questions about the HOA and the board and things like that, but they wouldn't have to be, like, their face. Would you be willing to do that? I had to stop the camera because she said somebody's name, but then I asked her if it was difficult to get her sunroom. How long did it take you, did you say?
A year.
A year, she said. But you got the HOA to rewrite the whole thing, didn't you?
Well, it was mainly because of 2 people.
Don't say their names. She's so funny. Okay, what is Melissa texting me? Melissa and Jason are not, so I have a feeling they're going to ask if I want to go to dinner. Oh, my husband just posted he just sent a picture to them of his suit. Do you guys want to see? That's what Alex looks like in his suit. Doesn't he look so nice? My husband is so handsome. I told him, I said, that would be such a beautiful suit to wear at Fufu and Jesse's wedding, you know? She needs like a greenhouse right out here, like in front. Like our neighbors would go crazy. You talk about the HOA board, they would lose it. But she needs like a greenhouse, like right out here, like right next to the mailbox I would live, where you had to pay like $5 to walk through the greenhouse and then like through her gardens, her little tour of her gardens. I think she went inside. If she didn't, I would tell her. Hey, I have a suggestion for you.
What?
I have a suggestion.
What's that?
You need to get a greenhouse and put it right next to the, like a big greenhouse and put it right next to the mailbox. And then charge people $5 to walk through the greenhouse and your gardens.
All right.
And we'll be the garden tour.
That's okay. That sounds good.
I think it's a good way for us to, well, it's a good way for, I said us, because it's my idea, so I get 10%.
Okay.
Finder's fee. Stuff is like all over my face.
Except for the big guy over there.
That's right. I'm gonna be security over here.
Security.
Me and Boo Radley.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. There you go.
He's gonna be sad. He hasn't seen you today.
I haven't seen you for a while. You've been fighting.
I saw your husband earlier. Yeah, he was driving in.
Driving in, getting ready to take you back.
What are you guys having for dinner tonight?
Nothing because we had lunch at Luciano's.
Oh, how was it?
Mine was good. I had to see you got involved.
My cousin Caroline wanted to go there the other day. She's like, I love that place. And I was like, I don't like it.
Who goes to the one in Brockwood?
That's the one she wanted to go to. Luciana's is like this Mexican restaurant.
The one up there at Clearwater.
The only thing I like about it is the big, like, fountain pops with the crushed ice.
Big what?
They have those big, you know, like the red cups with the, like, Pizza Hut with the crushed ice.
Oh, yeah?
That's the only thing I like about it. I've never had a good meal there.
Oh, no. Well,
Who knew, right?
I'll have to tell you.
What did he have to eat?
He had the steak fajitas, but he wasn't happy. Last time he had the fajitas there, he just was. And this time he didn't like it as well. So I don't know whether he had different fajitas or what. You never know. But I've been there quite a bit.
It's been forever since I've been there. Melissa didn't text back after that. I wonder what she's doing tonight. It's such a beautiful night to just sit here on the front porch. I know my life probably seems so boring to people and so simple, but I just have to tell you, I just love my life. I feel so blessed. I changed contacts today, and this eye was like hurting a little bit. Like not a lot, but it was hurting a little bit. So I was like, I'm gonna change my contacts. And I changed my contacts, and it's still like hurting a little bit. I don't know why. I think it was because I was rubbing it a little bit. I'm very careful with like rubbing my eyes, you know, especially because I wear contacts. And so I'm very careful about rubbing my eyes. But like I was rubbing it a little bit over here, and that's kind of where it hurts. And I'm like, I don't even think I rubbed it where my contact was. But I love my life. It's amazing to feel so blessed about having so much simplicity in your life, you know, that just like a Diet Coke or watching TV shows or listening to an audiobook or talking to your neighbor just like brings you so much happiness. And it's funny that in my life, like I sought after like the big things for so long, you know, like I can remember like when I was like younger, like in high school, like I always thought I was gonna move to some huge city, some big city. And you know, then like in my 20s it was like I wanted like some big house and all this kind of stuff, you know. And I can even remember my mom being like, when I'm gone, this condo will be yours. And I was like, I will never live in that condo, you know? And now I live in this little condo. I mean, our condo is small. Like, our condo is like 1,200 square foot, you know? I mean, it's a small condo. It's perfect size for us. All the rooms are big and stuff like that, but it's very much like the Wizard of Oz. Like, everything that, you know, I was ever looking for was in my own backyard. And I'm glad I realized it earlier rather than later. Because I see so many friends of mine, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't like nice trips and I don't like nice things. I'm not as consumed with it as I used to be. My big thing is I still do like nice trips and hotel rooms and stuff like that, so that's my thing. But I used to be so consumed, you know, with all of that. And I have friends of mine that are consumed to this day. It's like, they have to have this and they have to have that and blah, 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 whatever. And I'm just like, you're constantly in this rush to have more and more and more, and you don't seem any happier when you get it, you know? Like, it's just more stuff, and you don't seem any happier. And I'm not talking about, like, me buying Birkenstocks, or I'm talking about, like, friends of mine that, like, they look at their dream home for, like, 2 years, you know, and they're like, we want this home, we want this dream home, we're gonna build this home, and they build this home, they get into it, and then, like, 3 years later, they move out of it, and they're like, okay, like, we want a new house, like, and then they constantly are moving out of their houses, you know, and it's like, they're running after they're running after something to make them happy, but they don't ever seem happy. It kind of makes me sad a little bit, you know. I think it's the small stuff that I've learned in life that makes me the happiest, and it's so funny because there's like a black Jeep Wrangler going down the street, which Alex has a black Jeep Wrangler. I was sitting out here earlier when he came home, and I saw it come down the street, and then I didn't see it, and I was like, where did Alex go? Like, he's not coming down here anymore or whatever. And but then there was another, like, then his came down the street, and I was like, oh, there's Alex. I think this is Alex's friend right now pulling up to the house. It is. Hey! All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to get off here and go say hello to her. And I'm going to say hi to her and then see how he looks. And I will be back in just a little bit. What do you... Look at you!
Oh my goodness, are you recording? I'm sorry.
I am, but I'm getting off here right now. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It's been a while since I've been gone. Alex and his friend, I went in and I talked to them for a little bit, and then they left, and then I called Melissa, and her husband is going to his college reunion, and she went to like the last function that they had, so she said she's just going to stay at home tonight and relax. And I said, what are you going to do? And she said that she was going to watch the Duggar show on Amazon Prime that my cousin Caroline told me she watched, and she was like, you've got to watch this. It was like crazy town. So Melissa's going to watch that. But Melissa was going to go to this place, Sweet something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's all salads. She was going to go and get dinner at this place called Sweet Greens, I think it's called. Sweet something. She's like, well, look at the menu. Because she was like, well, what are you going to do for dinner? And because I told her, I said, well, we should go up there and get salads sometime and then bring them back to the pool, and we could like sit by the pool and eat lunch. And she's like, oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. So she was like, Sweet Green. She was like, well, I'm going to go up there for dinner tonight and get a salad because their salads are like incredible. And she said, look online and see what you think. And if you want to go with me, she was like, I'll take you up there and you can get something if you want. So I'm looking at their salads. They have a hummus crunch salad. Looks pretty good. The stuff looks pretty good. And that is 380 calories, 12 grams of protein, 40 carbs, 18 grams of fat. Spring asparagus salad. Oh, that's online only. Kale Caesar. Guacamole greens. She said that you can like make your own salad while you're there too. Buffalo chicken bowl. Super green goddess. Garden Cobb. My mom loved a good Cobb salad. Asparagus and roasted salsa bowl. I'm not going to show you guys all these pictures. Spinach Florentine bowl. Harvest bowl. Crispy rice bowl. That looks good. Shrumami. Roasted sesame tofu. Warm portobello mix. Raw beet. Cucumbers. Basil. Sunflower seeds. Warm wild rice. Shredded kale. Miso sesame. Ginger dressing. That sounds really good. That's what that one looks like. Chicken pesto parm. Fish taco. Chicken tostada. Online only. Oh, and then they have plates. Hot honey chicken plate. Kids meals. Ranchy chicken and rice. Little Harvest. Roasted chicken. Hot roasted sweet potatoes. Apple. Sunflower seeds. Hot honey mustard sauce. They have like local... Wait, here's the local... So they have local things for California, Miami, Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York. And then Indianapolis. The Miso Steelhead Plate, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and St. Paul. Or St. Paul. This is what that looks like. That's like the local plate that you can get. Oh, chicken avocado and ranch is another one of the local ones. They have hummus and focaccia bread. That looks good. You can get roasted sweet potatoes. Rosemary focaccia bread. They have desserts. Crispy rice treat. Cashews and vanilla bean hunks. Who is the brand? HU. Salty dark chocolate bar. They have jasmine green tea. Hibiscus berry clover tea. Oh, they have those Olipop drinks there. Lemon lime soda. Olipop vintage cola. Spindrift grapefruit. Spindrift. I think that's the one that Mel is always telling me to get that they have at Target. Spindrift raspberry lime. Proud Source spring water. Proud Source sparkling water. Health Aid kombucha. Pink Lady. Health Aid kombucha. Pink Lady apple. Pomegranate. I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel here in a little bit. Whether or not I want to DoorDash. What do you call it? If I want to DoorDash. Shoot, what is it? If I want to DoorDash Piata, or if I want to go up there with her. Okay, so I have to tell you. So these are the light blue shorts from that brand Birdwell that I was telling you guys about. The light blue corduroy ones. And I forgot they came... I don't know if I showed this on my video or not, but when they came, I forgot that I ordered them in 37 waist because I didn't know like the sizing on them. I think is what I ordered them in. And they didn't have these in a 37. And so, so I got them in navy blue. And I love them. There's like no belt loops on them. I don't know if you can see them, but they're like buttons and then they tie. And they're, you guys, they are so comfortable and they are so perfect for summer. And the 37s are like big on me. So I could probably wear like a 34 or 35, which they have the light blue in a 34 or 35. So I'm thinking about, and they're expensive, you guys. They're like super expensive. They're like $95 on here, but I have like a discount code that I got from ordering before. So I'm thinking about getting the light blue ones and then maybe hold on a second. This like coupon thing just came up where you have to like enter your email. Come on now. Either that or like these khaki ones. Well, I'm gonna get the light blue ones, but I'm thinking about either, oh, I can't get those. I don't have those in any of the sizes I need. So maybe the olive ones, because I love them, and those will be kind of like my shorts for the summer. I'm thinking about getting those, and this is what the back looks like. They have like this little like tag on the back, and they're Birdwell. And this is what they... And they kind of come like mid-thigh, which I really like. But they're super, super comfortable. And I don't have to wear a belt with them, which is nice. And And I think if I bought those two, then having those three, like a dark blue pair, a light blue pair, which I wanted the light blue pair forever. I forgot that I bought the navy blue pair. And then a khaki pair, like I wouldn't need any, oh, she just sent me the menu. I wouldn't need to have a, those would be like the only shorts I would need from the summer. Maybe like a pair of like denim shorts. I actually have a pair of like camouflage khaki shorts on, or not camouflage sweatpants shorts on that I got like a couple years ago, and they're like baggy on me now. So yeah, I've got like 2 more sections of my closet to clean out, and then my closet is completely cleaned out. And I started bringing stuff up from the basement and putting it in my closet. Which is really nice because now my closet is like filled with clothes that I can wear, so I can just go into my closet. And I know it sounds so like, people are like, well, that's what a closet's for, but like I haven't forever. Like I've always just like washed up, and then it's like been in my basement, and then I go down to my basement, I pull up like, you know, a pair of shorts or jeans and like 2 t-shirts, and then I figure out what I want from that, and then I just keep it all in the basement. So it's really nice to be able to like have everything in my closet that I can just go pick out, like a hanging shirt, a pair of jeans or shorts or whatever, you know, and have everything in my closet. Like I haven't been able to do that for a long time because I hadn't gone through my closet, and I was like, a lot of this stuff didn't fit, but I was thinking that it would fit eventually, and so I didn't want to get rid of it. And now, like, you know, all this stuff is fitting, which is just like crazy to me. So I'm really happy about that. And did I tell you guys that I did end up getting those Birkenstocks? So I think I actually have the picture of them. Hold on a second. Because I like screenshot something and then I look at it. Like, should I get this? Should I get this? Should I get this? And it's so funny because, well, Alex likes Birkenstocks now. He didn't for a long time. But I wasn't sure if I should get them or not. Here they are. So they're suede. And they're kind of like this like neutral nude color. I don't know what the color is actually. It doesn't. They're the Arizonas. It doesn't say on here what the color is. Suede leather. It's a screenshot, so I can't see what the color is on here. But anyway, I ended up getting them, and it's so funny because Alex, who whenever I buy a pair of shoes, he's always like, those are so ugly, like I would never wear them. And I put them on, and he was like, oh my god, I love those, like I'm gonna get a pair. And I was like, do you really like them? And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a pair, like I really, really like them. And they're super comfortable. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, so my summer wardrobe is coming together because I'm being able to wear stuff, and like I don't necessarily want to spend a bunch of money on like new clothes, but like I think to buy, you know, a couple pairs of shorts for the summer, and I've already got enough button downs that fit and things like that, that I don't need to buy any of that kind of stuff. That I've got tons of t-shirts in my closet that fit, that haven't fit in a long time, that I'm starting to wear, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, so I've got a full wardrobe for summer. And my battery went to the halfway mark, so I think it's going to start flashing here soon. So drink one last sip of my Diet Coke, and I think I should get off here and figure out what I'm going to do for dinner. So anyway, I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Friday. I will be getting this vlog up earlier tonight, hopefully, because my plan is to not go to bed, to start watching TV. I don't think I'm going to film any more videos. I thought I was going to maybe like film some videos today, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to just pull the iPad out, figure out what I'm doing for dinner, either go with Melissa to the Sweet Greens or order some, you know, piata. I have some left over in the fridge, but I feel like I'm wanting something different from piata, maybe like a different sandwich. I was getting that Mediterranean for a while, and I haven't been getting that. I've been getting the avocado, so maybe I'll order something different from piata, unless I go to Sweet Greens with Melissa. And then watch my shows and just kind of relax tonight. So, but this was really fun talking to you guys tonight. It's been really relaxing and nice. So anyway, I'm going to get off here. I hope that you guys are, like I said, having a magically amazing Friday evening and a fantastic beginning to your weekend. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Like I always say, you might be putting a smile on their face, you might be changing their day for the better, you might be making them feel happier, and you might just be making them feel not so all alone. So those are all good things, right? And Also, be kinder to one another, love one another a little bit more, and most importantly, be kinder and love yourselves a little bit more. It all starts with you. And I love you guys so much. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!